Hello, everyone. This is Sharika Matthews again from Live Life Beyond Barriers. I want to address another email or I think this was a Facebook post or something that I received a little while ago. It says, I feel like I'm at the end of my rope. I can't find a job and facing homelessness. I feel like this shouldn't be happening because I did what I had to do to be successful. I went to school, got a master's degree, and now I can't find a job. My kids are going to suffer because of my failure. I pray every day for a miracle. I read your emails and get inspired, but then reality sets in. I feel so helpless. My heart really breaks when I read emails like this because I know what it feels like to be helpless, to feel hopeless, and whether you're facing homelessness or joblessness or a broken heart or divorce after 50 years or death of a loved one, at some point in our life, we're always going to feel a sense of hopelessness and a sense of helplessness. But this particular person, looks like this person may have lost her job due to a recent layoff, or I don't know the real circumstances here. And because she doesn't have a job, she could lose her home and it could affect her kids. I think it's a she. I'm assuming it's a she. I don't know. I don't keep people's personal information on here. But one of the things that I really encourage people, especially those of you who are looking for a job and for those people who are facing homelessness, number one, think outside the box. I know that you went to school for a particular degree, you went to school for a particular program, and if you have been searching months or even years for a job in that particular field, let's say you want to be a nurse at MD Anderson ICU unit, and you just cannot seem to land a job in that particular field, in that particular hospital, then think outside the box. So let's say you decide, okay, I'm going to take away the requirement for working at ICU. I just want to get a job at MD Anderson Hospital. And you're applying for these jobs and they're just not coming through. It's been another 9 months and you still can't land a job. So, okay, I'm not going to apply to MD Anderson. I'm going to apply to some other hospitals. So you keep broadening your net. And if that still isn't working, then think outside the box. Because your first priority is to take care of your four walls. You want to take care of food, clothing, shelter, and transportation in any possible way, whether it's by bus or by bike or by car. And so what else can you do to generate income? I've coached a couple people before now, and a lot, especially as women, we tend to only think about female-dominated fields. We're thinking about going to substitute teaching or nursing or medical building. But what about some of the non-traditional jobs? Have you thought about being a bus driver? Have you thought about being a cab driver? Have you thought about operating a crane? Here in Houston, there's a lot of work that goes on the roads from time to time. I mean, they've been working on I-10 since before I was born. And every once in a while, I see women out there with their hard hats on, their steel-toed boots, and they're operating a crane, they're operating heavy machinery. Doesn't take a whole lot of extra education to do it. Just need to get training on how to operate that machine, and you go out there and work. Is that the most glamorous job? Nope. Will you get a paycheck? Yes. Will you be able to pay your bills? Yes. Will you be able to feed your kids? Yes. Think outside the box, especially when it comes to finding a job, when it comes to preventing homelessness. What other job can I do in order to provide for my kids? Because sometimes God is saying, I don't need you to go this path right now. I need you to go these other paths. It's going to be temporary because I need to teach you a lesson. I need to prepare you to go down this path. So temporarily, I need you to get a job as a crane operator. I need you to get a job as a housekeeper. I need you to get a job as a nanny. And I know just a few days ago, actually, I was having a conversation with some new friends of mine, actually. And one of the things this young man said was he meets a lot of women who go through divorces, who have been housewives their whole life. They're like, what am I going to do? I haven't had a job in years. I don't have any education. All I've done is cook and clean and take care of the home. Well, find a job where you can cook and clean and take care of the home. You don't have to be hopeless. Sometimes it just takes us to get uncomfortable because our pride and our ego is saying, you live over here in this upscale neighborhood, so a lot of people just want to save face in front of their friends, in front of family, in front of society. But sometimes you just have to do what you have to do in order to take care of your family. So definitely think outside the box. Put your ego and your pride in check. If you have to sell your house and downgrade to a studio apartment, if you have to get a roommate to make ends meet, do what you got to do by all means, so that you can take care of your family, so that you can take care of your children and build your way back up. Remember that God's not going to put more on you than what you can bear. But sometimes we put more on ourselves by staying in a particular path and not allowing God to show us different ways of thinking about things or different ways of doing things. So that's pretty much the advice I have for you, for those people who are facing job loss or who has lost a job and they're facing homelessness. Get any kind of job. It doesn't have to be comfortable. It doesn't have to be pretty. Get a job. Think outside the box. Go down to here. I think it's called Workforce Solutions. I'm not sure what it's called in other states and other cities. But go there and apply for any job for which you may be qualified. If they say that you're overqualified, then take your degrees off and say, I need a job that's gonna pay me at least $2,000 a month so I could take care of my rent, so I could put food on the table, and so at least I could go down to Goodwill or Salvation Army and buy my kids some clothes. Do what you gotta do now so that you can do what you want to do later. As far as facing homelessness, I have had a number of people reach out to me who are facing homelessness, who may have left a bad relationship or just simply lost their home because they lost a job. What can they do? How can they build up hope? How can they help themselves? And another thing I tell people to do is, again, think outside the box. Call different shelters and different programs and say, hey, this is my situation. What can I do? How can you help me? Or are there other resources out there available to me? Sometimes you may not always have the option of going and live with friends and family. So definitely look into shelters and look into shelters outside of your area. So I remember speaking to this one person. I don't remember what state they lived in. They lived in a really small town, so there was only a certain number of shelters that would take that person in. And so I said, well, is there a major city nearby you? And this person said, yes. It's about an hour away. Well, can you make it to that city? And that person said, yes. So I said, get the phone book. That person had a cell phone. Google the different shelters and different opportunities that are there in the other city and find out and say, hey, if I can get up there today, can I have a place to stay for the next 30 days while I get on my feet? And more than likely, especially in larger cities, you probably find a place where you can stay. So again, it's all about thinking outside the box. It's all about getting out of your comfort zone. Then the next question that I get asked is, why? Why am I going through this? And this will probably be a subject of another video. A lot of times we may not always get the answer to the why. But how do you regain your hope? How do you maintain your faith in the midst of all of this? You have to still make a choice to choose to rest on God's promises. He's not going to leave you or forsake you. All things are going to work together for your good. So you have to know that in spite of what you're seeing with your eyes, in spite of what you're going through physically with your body, in spite of all of this, use your eyes of faith and know that God is still with you. God is still helping you. God is still leading you. God is still guiding you. It has worked for people centuries before us. It's going to continue to work for centuries past us. But we have to have the faith. As long as you have faith as small as a mustard seed, all things can be possible for you. But you have to maintain that faith. You have to maintain that perseverance. You have to maintain that strength. You have to maintain that courage. And the way you do that, just simply speaking it to yourself. Speaking to yourself and say, in spite of what I'm going through, in spite of my circumstances, I still believe in God. I still believe God's promises. I still believe that God is who he says he is. I still believe that God can do what he says he can do. And I still believe that I am who God says I am. And I believe that I can do all things, that I can survive the good, that I can survive the bad. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That is how you maintain the faith in spite of. That's how you maintain your hope in spite of. So I hope that this video has been helpful for you. I hope that you have learned something that you can take away from this video and apply to your life today and every day of your life, or maybe just pass it on to a friend or a family member. If you have any comments below, please leave your comments below. If you have a question, please send me an email at sm@livelifebeyondbarriers.com. Or you can go to my Facebook page, Live Life Beyond Barriers, and send me a private message there. Until next time, rest in the promises of God. Know that God still has a plan and purpose for your life. He did not have plans to harm you. He only has plans to prosper you. So continue, be strong, be courageous. And until next time, live life on purpose and live life in purpose. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.